Gabrielle is her dad's only child. I have 5 kids. 5. And I have custody of my niece. The same year I had my last kid, I gained custody of my niece. But I've always had my niece. People who know me, have followed me, they know how I am about these kids. So it's like, how dare you, Gabrielle? Like, it's just ridiculous, you know. And I don't want to condemn her dad or convict her dad or go down that road, because I have forgiven her dad. I have talked to him. Shit, she just had a 21st birthday party. I threw that for her. She didn't even want to. I was like, no, baby, I've been waiting on this day. Through her big, beautiful birthday party, I invited her dad. You know what I mean? But Gabrielle's dad was never there. Yeah, but it's just like, I fought for this girl.
You ever watch like a movie where like there's like this rich kid, and then they have like the parents that's always at work, but the parents is like, okay, like, I'm just gonna get you a new purse. I'm just gonna get you a new this. I'm just gonna get you a new that. And it's like, yeah, like that stuff would be cool, because it's like, okay, now like I got it. But it's like, no, I just really wanted somebody that was there to just listen and just, you know, somebody I could open up to. And I feel like that made me the way I am today. And I'm learning now that I don't have to be this way, but I feel like it made me like strong. Like it made me like feel like I have to hold everything in. Like I don't talk to no, like, not like that, but like anytime I'm going through something, you'll never know, because it's like I don't open up to people. I don't talk to people because I never really had that as a child. So it's like now it's easier for me to just get through life alone. Way easier. Even though I can't even say that I just go through bad stuff, but it's like, you know, everybody have their own problems, and I'm sure y'all have y'all own problems. Y'all moms have their own problems, you know. But I feel like if you have a child, the best thing you can do is just be emotionally connected with them. Like, yeah, you can get your child the world, but really just listen. Like, if I have children, I took what my parents did, and you know, I'm definitely gonna apply it to my life. Like, I can say one thing: my parents did show me like an amazing lifestyle. Like, always lived in a very nice house, always had very nice cars, always had very nice clothes, always had, you know, like the newest of everything. So it's like, yeah, they show me that, but it's like when I have a child, I want to be able to give them that, and I want to be able to give them me emotionally, because I don't want my child to feel like they can't talk to me, or they can't come to me, or they can't, you know, because I know the feeling of that. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I have an empty home damn near. You're moving out. You're in Brooklyn. Y'all going y'all separate ways. Oh, you gonna do what you did last time. Just moving with a man. Cool, got it. Not mad. But for you to sit there and be like, yeah, you asked me to live with you, I told you no. You are so hurtful. I thank God I'm not really drowning like you thought I was. I thank God I'm not really lost. But you know what I mean?
Guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope I'm not flooding y'all with videos, but if I am, what y'all gonna do about it? No, I'm just kidding. But anyways, I grew up like Gigi did. I feel like I grew up a lot like Gigi did. I grew up in a household with a single mother who was very emotionally unavailable because of her own trauma and her own circumstances. And I feel like I've talked about this, you know, very briefly in other aspects on my channel, right? But Black women specifically, because of the system of patriarchy, systemic racism, etc., are often put in these situations where they have to be strong, right? The strong Black women trope is still kicking our ass and passing down generational trauma, right? I know that what Gigi's saying is not wrong, right? Our parents, the people who came before us, the people who loved us, the women in our community, have often had to bury their emotional state in order to survive. And because of that state of survival, they were not able to attend to our emotional needs. And so a lot of us are met or left with emotional voids that for a lot of us, tend to make us seek love other places. And for a lot of women, that's men, right? And so maybe the things that Gigi's mom, Ashley, are saying about her relationship with Kai aren't wrong. Maybe Gigi is chasing behind a man. Maybe she is with a man that doesn't really deserve her. Maybe she is with a man who's using her, manipulating her, who's triangulating her, who is isolating her, etc., etc., etc. But all of that is a response to the childhood and the emotional neglect that she experienced as a child, right? When you, and I know because I did this, I never did it with a man, but I used to do it with my friends. Like, my friends were my entire world. And I was literally so emotionally protective. Like, I was fiercely protective of my friends. I wouldn't let my mother say anything about my friends. And she used to hate that. She used to be so angry because I would protect my friends with my entire life, with my entire existence. Because back then, the way I saw it, my friends were the only people who were there for me emotionally. Other than that, I was completely alone. I felt alone. And there was no amount of material wealth or goods that could replace the fact that I felt like I was going through a life alone, facing all of my challenges alone, dealing with my internal state alone, and feeling like I had no one to turn to other than the other teens around me. And I feel like, and you know, for a lot of women, it's the exact same thing, except they're doing it with a man, right? Most women are probably doing it with a man. They're chasing behind a man. They're looking for the love that they never had. They're so like intertwined with these men that they can't see the writing on the wall. And that's probably what's going on with Gigi. And this happens so often in the Black community because Black women aren't capable, and I don't even want to say aren't capable, but they are not in a position to be emotionally loving and nurturing because they are surviving, right? Survival, oppression has emotionally crippled our community. And it is the gift that keeps on fucking giving one way or another. You see how like one set of problems turns into another. Like, okay, you finally made it out of poverty, right? You finally made it out of poverty, but now you have created a new and equally bad reality for your children, for the next generation, because you have not equipped them with enough love, nurturing for them to have a safe emotional state where they can move through the world whole and emotionally stable enough to have healthy relationships. And for some people, this turns into, you know, anxious attachment. You know, anxious attachment is where like you're always like, am I enough? Like, and you're always like trying to force people to love you. That was me. And then for other people, it's avoidant attachment, where you run from love. And I think that's a lot of men, right? Men, especially Black men, they're constantly like running from love because they don't believe it's real, because they've never experienced this deep nurturing. So they think it's like somebody's out to get them, somebody's pulling a prank, somebody's like doing something to them. And it is this continuous cycle within the Black community. So I don't think Gigi is wrong. Like, a lot of people are trying to say that she's wrong, that she's ungrateful, and that she's like, she's not respecting her mother's sacrifices or whatever. But I hate to say this, and I've told my mom this so many times, we fight about this so often. When you are a child, those sacrifices mean very little, because that is not what kids need, right? The material world that we live in is just that. It's fake, it's I don't want to, it's a hologram, you know what I mean? Like, it's not what you really need. What people really need is community, love. We don't need capitalism. We don't need the whole purpose of capitalism, right? And this is kind of like off topic, but the whole purpose of capitalism and material goods is to fill the void of community and interpersonal relationships, right? As the system keeps us grinding and working and busy, right? Too busy to fall in love, too busy to make friends, too busy to build community. They fill that void with material things. So it's going to be an endless array of material things that you need, that you desire, because what you really desire is love and affection from the people around you. And so because you can't get that, you're going to fill it with material void, right? A person who wants love, who genuinely wants love and hasn't reached this like state of survival yet, who's never been in the state of survival, is never going to understand that. Though those two things are never going to click. And thank God, like, I can always say thank God that I've never wanted for anything in life, and I'm always going to be grateful to my mother for that. And I think that we can like finally like just kind of like agree to disagree, or I don't have to like, you know, just like bring my grievances to her about my childhood anymore because I've healed. But a person who was living off of survival can never understand a person who moves off of love. And that's always going to be the disconnect between the older generation and the younger generation, because they're a generation that moved off of survival and we're a generation who's operating from love. And it's because of them that we even have the privilege of operating from that place of only seeking love. But it's an equally damaging place. And unfortunately, right, this cycle is often what creates the perpetual cycle for poverty, right? Because a person who had the material things but doesn't have love is more than likely going to fall in love with someone that they shouldn't have fallen in love with, have a children in poverty, and now they're going to be raising children in poverty, and now those children are going to be operating in survival, and they are never going to be able to operate out of love. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a continuous cycle within our community. A person who doesn't have financial means should not be having children, because those children are going to be raised in survival mode. A person who is not capable of love shouldn't be having children, because those children are going to be raised in a state of emotional depravity. It is a continuous, sickening cycle. It's so sad. Like, it's literally so sad. And I don't know what the cure for that is, like what the solution is to stop that from happening within our community. But it keeps happening. It literally happens every day, basically. Like, every day we see it happening again and again. I know a lot of y'all aren't on TikTok. I hope y'all are on TikTok, because where the fuck y'all be at if not on TikTok? Like, oh, join me. Hello, come get in good with me. But anyways, the Tosh McIntyre, no, what's her name? Peach McIntyre and Kylie G situation, right? Kylie G talking about, and I think I'm gonna make a separate video about that, because it directly relates to this conversation, and I think that it deserves its own conversation. But basically, Peach McIntyre was talking about how her mother never hugged her, and so now she hugs her kids and tells her kid how beautiful it is. She's named her daughter Gorgeous. So now anytime that somebody addresses her daughter, they have to call her Gorgeous, right? Kylie G says she don't hug her kids, and she like got a letter from her child and she like rips it up. Kylie G is somebody who was raised in survival mode, right? She was raised in survival mode. So she's not capable of loving her child properly. That emotional vulnerability makes her feel insecure. And so she is not capable of loving her child properly. That is the truth for so many people in our community. Like that and this is another video that I really need to make, but this is what black men are always talking about when they say black women are too tough, right? But them saying that is ignoring the reality of black oppression. It's ignoring the fact that 80% of the men are incarcerated and they're not in the household, or they're not helping raise families, and all the responsibility is forced on the black women, forcing black women into an emotional void where all they can do is provide and protect their children. But this is why black men flock to white women, because they were raised in emotionally avoided homes, and they see white women as a place of nurturing. They see white women as they're always trying to heal their mother wound. And so even though there are plenty of black women who do not have this issue, they know that a lot of women in our community do, so they bypass black women altogether and go straight to white women. But white women are manipulative. At least they can be. Like, not, I'm not trying to stereotype nobody, but we know white women. I know white women real well. Manipulative. It is what it is. I got some black female friends that are manipulative too, though. So let me ease up off the white hoes. But yeah, it's a like continuous cycle within our community that just really, really never stops. And it's kind of irritating. It's kind of sad. We just can't never like move on. And I really want us to, but I think it's going to take like conscious effort, for one, for black people to like really slow down and stop having children for the wrong reasons, and stop having children in both like survival mode and then for the sake of seeking love. Because I hate when black women say they had a child or son, usually a son, so that someone could love them. No, you're supposed to love your kids. They're not here to love you. You're here to love them so that they can love others and we can continue the cycle of love. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's getting dark out here. It really is. But Gigi was not wrong, but I understand where Ashley Monroe is coming from. She's looking at it as at a place of like, she did everything she could. And that's how most of the people in our community, the black women in our community who had to sacrifice to provide for them children, are looking at it. Like, I did everything I could. I did what I could. And they did do what they could. But at the same time, and this is why I don't have any kids yet, because bitch, I ain't got no money. I don't got no money. I would be raising my kid from a place of poverty. I would never do that to another human being, right? And I think that people like have this like, these my kids, instead of thinking of kids as human beings who exist, who are one day going to exist on their own independently in this world and need to have all the tools and resources to be functioning members of society. Like, that's the truth about children that people never want to realize. Children are going to be functioning members of society one day. And so because of that, you need to raise them with every necessary tool in order for them to do that. Like, whatever that means. You need to provide them with every resource possible. That means community. That means money. That means education. That means everything. That means love, understanding, emotional communication. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just not enough people doing that. It's just not enough people doing that. Anyways, that's all I have to say about this. I don't like to I'm not a long video type of person yet, y'all. I'm really getting into like the mix of this. And y'all tell me if y'all like these video style or I just be rambling. And if I do just be rambling, oh well, because I am not gonna be one of these bitches editing YouTube videos. It's just not for me yet. It's not for me yet. So y'all just gonna have to meet me where I am. I hope that like y'all like these like quick transmissions or whatever, but yeah, I'm working on it. So thank y'all for joining me here. I appreciate y'all.